What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Gavin Richard Presents here on my channel GBoot2786. Wherever you are, I hope you all are doing blessed and highly favored. I want to do this quick video in remembrance of these three gentlemen. Now, I didn't realize this, but today is Father's Day, and sadly, these three men, James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, and Michael Schwerner. I don't believe any of these men got the chance to experience fatherhood. When I was a kid, I remember my parents, of course, we had this big video library collection, and we would, back in the day, those that don't know or don't remember, but you recorded your movies that came on like HBO or Showtime. When you had VCRs back then, and it was real easy. Well, sometimes it wasn't easy, but you recorded at the right time that the show, when you saw the TV guide, that the movie was coming on. And my parents had a movie that they recorded called Mississippi Burning. And Mississippi Burning, of course, was made, it's hard to believe, but over 30 years ago. It was made, I believe, by the director was Alan Arca, if I'm not mistaken, and it starred Gene Hackman, who played in the Superman movies. That's how I remember him, but great actor. Alan Parker was the director, excuse me, and Willem Dafoe. And basically, they played the FBI agents that were investigating the murder of these three gentlemen that you see here. Now, of course, the movie was made, it was inspired by the actual story, and there were things that were taken for granted in it, but it was a true story that these three men were killed out in Mississippi. And so the FBI went down there to investigate their deaths. Now, that happened on June 21st in 1964 in Jessup County, Mississippi. Now, I'm sorry, not Jessup County, it was Neshoba. I'm reading from the actual movie screenplay. No, Neshoba County, Mississippi. That's where their bodies were found. That's where they were abducted. And in 1964, this actual date, Father's Day, June 21st, 1964, was when these men were killed by the Ku Klux Klan for trying to get black Americans in Mississippi to vote, register to vote. And, it's hard to believe that was only, well, it's not hard to believe, but in a way it is, but 56 years ago that this happened. So when people say that we're through with racism, or that it doesn't exist anymore, that we've made great strides, that we don't have to deal with this stuff, that's in the past. Well, the past is not so far from view. And I'm looking at the list here on Wikipedia of the men that were involved. Cecil Price, Samuel Bowers, Alton Wayne, Jimmy Snowden. Those men were convicted, and I believe those four men were convicted on civil rights charges. Billy Wayne Posse was convicted, Horace Barnett, Jimmy Allredge. Edgar Ray Killen is the only one of the murderers that were convicted in state court. In state court. He was the only one, and that was back on June 21st, 2005, the 41st anniversary of the crime. And he was sentenced to 60 years in prison, but he died back in 2018, 6 days before his 93rd birthday. The others that were involved, Lawrence Rainey, he's just alleged. He was the sheriff of Neshoba County, Mississippi. Okay. And this was, the movie Mississippi Burning was the fictionalized version of what they call the Freedom Summer, which is what the time these men were killed, because you had the killings of all of these men, including others like Viola Luso, who was a white Italian civil rights activist. You also, of course, previous to that, you had the 4 little girls that were bombed in Birmingham. They called it Bombingham. And, just so many atrocities that were committed against black people in this country, man. It's too much for me to name and remember. But, when you look at this, Herman Tucker, Olin Lavelle Barrage, and they all say some of these men were alleged. Bernard Aiken, Travis M. Barnett, James T. Harris, Frank Herndon, Richard A. Willis, Ethel Barnett, Jerry McGrew Sharp. All of this shit just makes you mad to think that these people got away with this shit for so long. Like this guy Klein, who was involved, he got convicted only in 2005 and died in 2018, 13 years later. So I guess that was some justice. But of course, the guys that actually got sentenced, they got sentenced on federal civil rights charges, which wasn't really a long prison sentence. Cecil Price was a deputy sheriff. So it's usually been, when people think that black people were making this stuff up, only after a video gets released, the people of a cop putting his knee on the back of another man's neck while 2 other cops lay on top of him, and another cop is just keeping watch, not doing anything. Everybody's outraged. Everybody's outraged when they see that shit and just think, oh no, we didn't know our black brothers and sisters were going through all of this. The fuck you didn't. How didn't you not know? You didn't know because you all were the ones perpetrating it. Some of you, at least, knew. And there were a few that tried to do something, but for overall, the police departments in this country, they were allowed to get away with stuff like this because everybody believes the police. The police never lie. And this isn't about me demeaning police officers to say that all cops ain't bad. That's not the issue. Yeah, all cops are not bad, but all black people aren't criminals either. And you had elected officials that were involved in this murder. A sheriff and a deputy and some other members of the Ku Klux Klan. Cecil Price only did 6 years in prison and served 4.5 years at Sandstone Federal Penitentiary in Minnesota. He returned to Philadelphia, Mississippi, and worked a variety of jobs until he died following a fall from a piece of equipment at his job on May 6, 2001. He later said in life he refused to speak publicly about the events of 1964 to 1967. During an interview for the New York Times Magazine in 1977, he stated that he enjoyed watching the television show Roots. In the same article, Price said, "We've got to accept this is the way things are going to be, and that's it." And supposedly, he repented of his previous actions. He told an African-American pastor. He helped Marcus Dupree, who his son Cecil Jr. was friends with, get a commercial driver's license, and Dupree established a career after his retirement from the National Football League. Okay, Marcus Dupree. The name sounds familiar, but he was a running back. Okay, and he's from Mississippi. That's just one of those guys. So, just seeing this, thinking about, I'm just going through all this. I'm not going to read all of them. Samuel Bowers, convicted murderer and leading white supremacist in Mississippi during this. Is another one of another one of the white supremacists involved in this. He was actually born in New Orleans. So, okay. I mean, these guys really didn't. Now, interesting about him, I'm just reading here. Bowers was serving a life sentence for the 1966 bombing death of Vernon Dahmer, a civil rights leader. Only one person visited Bowers during his incarceration. The visitor claimed to be Bowers' brother, who listed a false address and fictitious Mississippi town as his residence. And he died in 2006. You know, all of this happened in the summer. You know, same thing with Medgar Evers' assassination in Mississippi. It was June 12th. You know, we just commemorated that. Actually, last week I did a video on it. But rest in peace, James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, and Michael Schwerner. Schwerner, excuse me. I just wanted to do this video on it, but it's just interesting, man, the stuff that we've had to go through. But wow, 57 years ago, you know, and you just think that was a week and a half after Medgar Evers was assassinated by Byron Della Beckwith. So, rest in power to these gentlemen. That's it for me, guys. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like, share this video. Also, if you must, please donate to the channel at the Cashapp. This is Gavin Richard with Gavin Richard Presents, only on GBoo 2786. I'm out, guys. Peace.